speakers, so you can't hear other teams' communication. It's actually pretty surreal.
But here we go into match number 1 and having a look at that plane path. It's not too bad actually to start things off in because, you know, that's not really cutting off the map anywhere. Everyone can kind of get to their spots. There's nothing too crazy going on here with this south to north plane.
It's not a troll plane. Like I much prefer those. We'll have to wait and see for the circles, but it is a nice direct route through the middle. So everyone should be able to get to their preferred drop zones, which we know these guys all love to have, and they all know each other's drop zones. And what I didn't know was that it's actually BM to hot drop onto another team zone. Can you believe that?
Yeah, I mean, I feel like that's kind of going to be the thing that we'll see probably maybe on day 3 when teams are trying to catch each other and that kind of thing.
You still won't see it.
Well,
even when it got to the...
Look, Ian, if it's going to be the difference between going to Berlin and not going to Berlin, who cares about VM?
It's not going to happen. These guys are far too polite, Jordan. You have to understand this is the least toxic community there is.
Well, if there was ever a time to change that up, I think now would be it, because this is the biggest PUBG event we've ever had in Australia. You know, this is for a place in Berlin. That's a $2 million tournament.
And, you know, where this is a bit different to maybe other games as well is that we literally have 20 teams who anyone can win. That's the fascinating thing for me over the next couple of days. But as you can see, everyone's dropping in and trying to find their way to their preferred zone. Order got a pretty nice run there, just that whole north side of the island to themselves.
Yeah, first zone popping there, and so obviously all those guys on the eastern side of the map going to be feeling pretty comfortable about that one. A lot of action going on down in the military island as well. You don't typically see that many teams down there.
True, 3 teams, just Sosnovgorod all on its own, but it's a pretty good circle, you got to say. It's very central, a lot of island in there, not much water. There is going to be maybe perhaps a bridge fight when you know later stages in the game, but these teams will find a way to rotate regardless. Can't really see anything crazy going on, can you? I mean, Order are fairly split up. Pathogen obviously going for their usual Yaz drop.
Yeah, Chiefs in Gatka as per usual. AVANT in Pachinki again as per usual. Still looks like Greyhound is making their way towards South Georgia Pole, even despite the circles. So there's nothing, like you said, out of the ordinary just yet.
Yeah, Greyhounds look like they're going to split up again, which is normal for them, and head towards South Georgia Pole. You see Chiefs in their duos as usual over Gatka, so they've secured that. And TABOO have had to get out of dodge there on the vehicles. So you got ARCANE there with the Primorsk, which I was surprised, Jordan. I was surprised no one said that was their most hated place to
Honestly,
drop.
I think that probably would be my most hated place.
It just sucks.
I think, to be fair, we're probably going to have very similar opinions when it does come to where we would like to drop.
Because we played together a lot.
Because we played together, exactly. So there is a little bit of bias perhaps involved
Maybe
there.
that's where half of their rage comes from for the Raging Knights, you know, just having crap loot in Primorsk.
Yeah, well, maybe it's time to do a little bit of BM and take someone else's loot.
It all gets buffed a little bit for this tournament, obviously.
Yeah,
so
1.3 times, I think, most of the drops.
Yeah, wouldn't that be fantastic?
I think so. I think so. Yeah. But regardless, it's going to be interesting to see how this map does.
I was going to ask you, Jordan, your predictions.
Yeah, well,
the Jets got to do theirs because they're so important and high and mighty.
Yeah.
But what about us?
I think it's probably pretty safe to say
I want
it's going to be...
I want a favourite and an upset potential.
Okay, well, a favourite for me, obviously, I think you're going to have to go for Athletico. They're probably looking like one of the stronger teams, or I wouldn't say they probably are. They are looking like one of the stronger teams. They won the Zimo Invitational, which obviously was kind of a big deal here in Australia. It was at that time the biggest event.
It was a big deal. I don't know. They didn't have anyone really that famous there, did they? I mean,
apparently not.
We weren't there.
No, we weren't there, but that's okay. And my dark horse, I think I'm probably going to have to go with Immunity as well. I think that's what Xenox said.
Is a dark horse?
Yeah,
okay.
I mean, they came third in their group, which is not necessarily what you would have...
They won 3 games back to back, Jordan. The Doc can't even do that. So that's pretty impressive for me. But, okay, well, that's good. Yeah, so like, Athletico and Immunity for you know, your favourite and your upset.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, you're going to have to talk about AVANT. You're going to talk about Chiefs. You're going to talk about Greyhound, those teams as well.
Yep.
But, look, obviously, you're going to make me choose 2. So those are going to be my 2.
So for me, I'm going to go for Chiefs for the favourite.
Okay.
I mean, that's pretty easy, isn't it?
You're a fanboy?
There's a top 4 easy fanboy one. Yeah, sure. Not really a fanboy, but look, I've been on the end of P for Potato, Critical Motion.
Yep.
So I've seen what they can do. I mean, look, I've versed a couple of these guys, obviously, in pub back when I played a little bit, but they weren't as good as they are now. But, you know, just the way things have panned out through the qualifiers and whatnot, I still just think this could be the day. This could be the day, right?
Yeah. A little bit of an interesting rotation here. I don't want to cut you off.
Yeah, no worries.
But look at it. Athletico started on Military Island.
Yep.
And now they're all the way up to Military Power.
Yep.
So they've not really been doing too much looting in this first 5 minutes or so.
They'll find a way. Obviously, the loot is everywhere there. I mean, have you dropped Mill to Power recently?
Yeah, I think I did. Did we play a game where we dropped Mill to Power? That's right.
And there was a fair bit there. We'll pretty much geared up straight away. And that was just in normal. So, in 1.3 times, you can expect a fair bit of loot there. And obviously, they're very spread out. They're in the old power base, everything like that. So, okay, so what did I say? My favourite, Chiefs?
Chiefs, yeah.
I mean, look, that's still a bit of a risky pick because, they're not exactly expected to be number one.
No, but they have had really good form online. I mean, we saw in the qualifiers they did really well.
I thought they did really well. They might have had a bit of an easy group, but anyway. And then for my upset, I'm actually going to go ARCANE.
Okay. Yeah, I can see that.
Just because they topped their group over Athletico. Happy Navides, he was an absolute star in the qualifiers, so we'll see what happens.
Yeah, well, he's got that LAN experience. He was at Zimo with Greyhound, and they came fourth.
Yep.
So, yeah, he's got that little bit of experience.
Before he got dogged. Greyhound.
Good one. I get it. So far, no kills. No. Obviously, this first game, I don't expect we're going to be seeing anything too crazy. I think all the teams are going to be playing it pretty safe, just trying to get their feelings here in the LAN environment and sort themselves out.
Yeah, unfortunately, that's just the way it is, Jordan.
There is a crate drop in the middle of the map. We'll have to see what's in that one. And there are a few teams around it, so that could be something that might lead to that first kill.
Generally speaking, I mean, it's only if it's on the way through a rotation that someone will go for that drop.
Yeah. Well, that's going to be somewhere that people are rotating through.
Yeah. Touché.
Right next to Rozok Hill, and typically that's where you want to make your rotation because there's no cities there, there's no towns. Unlikely to see people on Rozok Hill. It's generally a safe route through the map.
Yep. Champ's taking a bit of fire there, so he's going to have to pull over. Under some duress. Not arrest, but duress.
We've got an AUG suppressor, AR suppressor.
It's more level 3 helmet. 3? Yeah, the level 3 helmet and vest is where it's at. The AUG obviously is pretty good. Is there anyone near it?
Not that I can see at the moment. No one going for it right now.
No,
but
and like I said, they won't. It's a big risk.
Yeah.
It is a big dinner bell. But otherwise, you see Exile making their way into the circle now. Hasn't even started to shrink yet, which is great news. But the blue is on its way in.
Champ's just doing a little bit of scouting there at the moment for the rest of his team. You could see him just sitting in that little hole, kind of wondering what he was doing there. But his team was pretty close by, so he's keeping an eye out for the rest of those guys while they loot up.
Yeah, he's getting the rotation ready, giving them somewhere to sit when they come in.
Looks like Happy Navides is getting relatively close to the drop. We'll see if he does decide to actually go for it, if he knows where it is or not.
Yeah, that hated 3x scope there for the immunity player there. Not many people like that one.
No, actually... Well, look, to be honest, all these new scopes are better than no scope.
Yeah.
So there is that. I was never really a fan of the 2x scope. Never really seemed to work for me. I would just prefer to take the red dot regardless. But in the end, a scope is better than nothing. I mean, the iron sights in this game are sometimes a little difficult to deal with. So,
I mean, they're almost impossible. Long range sniping, maybe with a Car 98 or something like that. But I haven't had the luxury of having to do that with an M24 or anything yet. But
no.
That being said, Pathogen Yeti just on his own little scouting mission, little recon. Oh, taking some fire there as well.
Yeah, again, still no deaths. Still fairly early in the game, but by this point you would have expected that someone might have dropped, someone might have gotten a little bit unlucky with a car or something like that, but not the case. Subslayer going to be returning to his team, Tainted Minds. Just setting themselves up in a compound there. That's actually not a bad spot for them right now because that's fairly central, and it's actually not a bad compound to hold. There's a lot of open ground around the side. The real problem for them is going to be if someone comes over that northern hill just above them. But that's really the only way that you can quite successfully take that compound, and even then it is kind of tough.
That is a nice compound, though. I do agree with that. Obviously, you're covered by the defilade just to your north. But you obviously have that clear plain sight around, so that's going to work well for them. I mean, it's very central on the circle as well. Let's keep that in mind. So they're not going to have to rotate too much, hopefully, throughout the rest of this game. But we'll just have to see what sort of luck they get. As you can see, Intergalactic lads, is it Laf 3 just coming in on the outside on the shoreline there? So he's going to meet up with the boys late. Yep. Athletico, they've moved out of Mill to Power now. They've gotten everything they needed out of that. So good to see everyone grouping back up. Greyhounds, they're still going to be in their pairs of twos. You've got a couple of guys up the top north there above Yaz.
I think the thing for me to look at right now is Chiefs obviously quite late on the rotation. They're the ones that are furthest out of the circle. Yep. They do have Champs in the middle there. Like I said earlier, he's sitting there waiting for
there's
his
our
teammates.
First kills.
And there are our first kills. Cheeses and Stacky finding a couple of knocks. The car's not looking too peachy right now there either for Skylops, and he's under a lot of pressure because he's sitting in the middle of the field.
Yeah,
what's he going to be doing?
Cyclops.
Is it Cyclops?
Yeah.
I couldn't see.
Do you know what he's going to be doing? He's just going to be zigzagging his way to that love shack.
Yeah.
He's going to chill in there for a bit. And Exile find their first kills. The first kill for the first day of the first game.
Just one kill. They did get a couple of knocks, but they've only gotten the one kill so far.
Yeah, well, anyway, let's not digress on that. They're going to shoot out the tyres there. That's Righteous Knights up there. Raging Knights, rather. They're going to be raging after that. Not only did they have to loot Primorsk,
now they don't have a motorbike.
Now they've come all the way in past Pachinki. But as you were saying with Chiefs, I mean, yeah, late rotation or not, they are still going to get a pretty safe passage. You can see there's nothing stopping them from rotating in, but Champs is still all on his lonesome.
Well, the thing is going to be if Champs does get picked off there, and that basically is going to mean Chiefs are going to have to try and figure out where they want to go. If he goes down, they're not going to have that information.
Yep.
Apart from the fact that he just died there, so in theory, you probably don't want to be going to where he did just die. So he needs to survive, and at the moment, he doesn't really seem to be under too much pressure. Most of the fighting is still kind of contained into where Exile are right now, shooting up against Raging Knights. But everyone else is fairly comfortable, not taking too many battles. Again, another knock here by Exile. This time it's Fear. Cheese's having a crack as well. Don't think that's going to result in a kill. There should be a res coming across there, but Exile definitely getting into the thick of things early.
I don't know. It's going to be pretty difficult to res him there. I'd say he is stuffed. He's in between the car and
a wall. If that car blows up and kills him, then he's definitely gone. So 2 kills now for Exile. Starting off well. Starting off the way you would want, I suppose.
They've got some pretty good loot. They've both got a couple of sniper rifles there.
Some good scopes.
And they've got the whole view of Pachinki as the rotates come in. Now they need to move, but look at that. They got all the vehicles, everything ready to go. Greyhound's going to move out of their little compound there. I think that's the one I used to call the nutty compound, isn't it?
No, that's the one right next to Yasnaya, isn't it? Yeah. Or was that the one you called the Nutshot compound?
That's the one we used to call the Nutshot
For me, the Nutshot compound was the one next to Bunnings.
Yeah.
It's basically the same compound, just in a different spot.
Yeah.
But those are very, very OP compounds, especially in third person. But
Chiefs
regardless.
have met up.
They have, which is good, but they're like right in the thick of things here. This is going to be a pretty tough area to hold, I think. There's going to be a lot of players rotating in through them, so potential for Chiefs to get a lot of kills, which we did see through the qualifiers they like to go for. But also there's that risk, the risk versus reward that the Chiefs need to be aware of.
Absolutely. Now, Intergalactic lads, let's see what they can do in their little compound. This is the nutty compound you were talking about, or this is the one next to Bunnings. You know what I mean? So, got some action. Athletico are actually going to get dropped down there.
Yeah, it was a 1-for-1 actually.
I wonder if they'll be able to trade. I can't actually see where they are. That must be over towards, is it Lopovka? No, it wouldn't be at Lopovka. It'd have to be near the prison or something. Yeah, here it is. Well, he's back up.
Been res, yeah.
Yep, that's good news for them.
But it looks like they did get the kill, because Neferhor's got a kill.
Oh, they did.
So
the kill
that means Avant's -1 players.
Oh no, Intergalactic lads, start the account early. Champs has gone down. That is a huge loss for the Chiefs, and my prediction.
I think that was just Champs going for a bit of a scout into.
Well, he is their scout. So,
yeah. And Intergalactic lads have just been sitting in Lipovka the whole game so far.
Well, they're in the Nutshot compound.
They've just been given a free kill, essentially.
Yeah.
But that makes life a little bit difficult now for Chiefs, because they're going to have to make their own way without that early advanced scouting from Champs.
Yep.
So a little bit unfortunate for them. Still rotations coming across from Carnage and Kingdom Gaming through the northern part of the map above Yasnaya.
Greyhounds letting their presence be known.
Certainly. And SYF quite happy still down at the farm, but a few kills coming across here. Greyhound starting to get involved.
Oh, Yasu Cage with the kill steal there. Onto the Tainted Minds player.
Yeah, Blackout not going to be too pleased with that.
Kage? Kage?
Kage. It's Kage. And Immunity. Well, they're under a bit of pressure now as well. Striker takes a shot.
No pressure.
No pressure at all. Well, they do have a nice little defilade there, so they should be fairly safe when they're actually sitting in there, but when they're going to have to move, that's going to be causing some problems.
They will have to move shortly.
Well, they are in the middle of the circle, or just about in the middle of the circle. Like right now, the circle is literally central on prison. No one's actually in prison.
Oh, what? Oh, what? Oh, what? Sub-Slayer just taking down Galway. Must be.
I'm not sure what's going on there.
Must have crashed or something and need his loot.
Yeah.
Times are tough. It's every man for themselves here in Battle Royale.
That's a little bit unfortunate, isn't for Tainted Minds, but we'll see whether or not that's going to make much of a difference. They do still have a few players up. But right now, the teams that are looking good, I think, like Avant, they're sitting quite central. Athletico sitting fairly central.
Everyone who hasn't died.
Well, Avant have lost a player, but they're in a good spot.
Yeah, well, that's true. Intergalactic lads look like they're in an okay spot as well. Exile have made it in through Pachinki. They've gotten sneakily by SYF down there towards the farm. Where are Tainted Mines? I mean, everyone is very close together here. It's about the third circle in is where people start dropping like flies.
The trouble with this kind of a circle right now on this side of the map is that there aren't actually that many buildings and that many good buildings that you can go to.
Yeah.
There's all that defilade and all the hills all around prison, but like exactly what Pathogen's doing right now, they just have to kind of find a hill, find some at least reasonable positioning that they can play with. But it's not like you can go and sit yourself in a shack and sit there for the entire game.
Oh, okay. So I see. Chiefs have got Bunnings.
Yep.
End for Intergalactic Lads is in the Nutshot compound still, which I'm going to keep calling it that. Lipovka, that's all the rest of the Intergalactic Lads. So this is looking pretty good. Order are coming in down from the north now. Now, Order are a team that they like to get into a building inside the circle, and then the circle just likes to follow Order around.
Well, I tell you what, if they get right into prison and get into that compound in the middle there, they're probably going to have a good chance of that. But the trouble is going to be...
I don't think anyone would want to be in the prison.
That's the thing, is you don't really want to be there. If the circle does end up coming out of it, you're basically dead. You can't get out of the
I'm
crater.
still calling that a crater, Jordan. I mean...
It is a crater.
Yeah, let's be real. No one's ever gone to Roswell and said, let's put a prison here. So, maybe Blue Hole has, but... Waikika is going to be on the recon path for the rest of the boys.
Well, there's a little bit going on here. Carnage pushing aggressively into Bandits, and it's worked out quite nicely for them. They've knocked 2. They have taken a little bit of a trade back here, but all in all, this looks like it's going to be Carnage's fight, although Bandits
ESPORTS
just absolutely decimate them. Matesti and Shavsky, last 2 left alive. They will be able to res Blind Freddy.
First team
That's
gone.
Our first team gone, yeah.
Carnage.
Carnage unfortunately knocked out. The fight started well for them. They got the first 2 knocks.
And it was a one-on-one fight as well. There were no other teams chiming in. So you can't ask for much more than that, but Bandit Esports off to a cracking start.
The thing that I'm noticing really between these teams that we would expect to be, your likes of AVANT, ATHLETICO, Chiefs, the top tier teams are not fighting right now. But you're seeing the lower tier teams like EXILE, like Carnage,
right?
and Bandit. They're all fighting.
They're picking around where they can. Bandit, they were, they had to fight there. There was not much they could do. Once your path, intercepts directly with another team, you have no choice but to fight. Like you were saying, there's no buildings for cover. You can't just camp. You have to take the fight, and in this case, it probably benefits them.
Bit of an opportunity now for Chiefs to get a bit of revenge for champs there. Obviously, Intergalactic Lads are having a bit of a scout there with Endme up towards Bunnings, which is where Chiefs are right now. So if they can pick him off, it'll be a 1-for-1, all things considered. But right now, he seems to be quite content to just stay fairly far away, and Chiefs also quite content to stay in Bunnings, which, of course, why would you move at this point? Circle is coming in. It'll be fairly close to popping the next one, and that's where we're going to start to see, again, another bit of action starting to come across now. For now, all the teams are more or less sort of set themselves in their position and just waiting for that next circle.
Yeah, I guess the last team to come in is probably KANGA Esports. Kingdom Gaming, rather. Coming in there from the north. Oh, that looks like they might have spun out on their tricycle. A little push bike.
Never easy, is it?
No, well, I'm not going to say it, but ready. But the rest of the guys, everything else looks pretty set up, doesn't it? ARCANE have got a nice spot. I really like the lumber mill there.
Really?
Yeah, there's a lot of good defilade. There's a couple of buildings, but other than that, you can camp there pretty good, and it's really hard to be seen from far away. Obviously, no one's going to have a clear shot onto you because of all that, the hills and trees. It's a very dense area as well. EXILE are going to be the ones to find them. But I think the dark horse here is Greyhound. They've stayed in that compound that whole time. They've gone from having a crack at everyone driving past to being fairly quiet. And now everyone else is just getting a few shots into each other.
Well, this next circle is going to tell us a lot because, like I said, there's a lot of teams set themselves up in a nice position, but there's a good chance you're going to have to see someone like Greyhound or someone like Chiefs moving, or, if they get a lucky circle, they're going to be right there. But Intergalactic Lads, they've had a bit of a run-in with the Bandits, and it hasn't gone too well for Bandits, so I think they've just got 1 player left alive, or perhaps they've all been knocked out, actually.
Well, no,
they did only have 3, didn't they? So
well, it was...
That would be all
for Intergalactic Lads, there was a guy in the Nutty compound, and Lipovka had 3. So, if they've all gone down...
I think that's it. Yeah, the 18 teams left alive.
You can see them. They're still in Lipovka. You can see that. Intergalactic Lads. They're about to run into Order as well. So, Chiefs are trying to fire onto just Endme, who's in there by himself. That's a bit strange for Jesus to go down there.
Bandits is the second team knocked out now of this game. That was the takeaway from that little fight with Intergalactic Lads.
Yeah, definitely.
Immunity's on the move. The circle has popped, and obviously they're going to try and quickly get somewhere central. But again, they have no real information, no intel as to what's going on in that new circle. So they're going to be basically doing a mad dash, trying to find anything. There's a good chance someone from Immunity might go down here. Someone from Intergalactic Lads as well, as Order starts to fire some shots in their direction. But in the end, they do manage to get out of there okay. And Chiefs also having to move out of Bunnings.
Look at how close AVANT and Immunity are here. Just this fight. I don't know if they even... Obviously, they know of Immunity's whereabouts because they have the vehicle, but AVANT have just been sitting there not making any noise. Just the 2 players for them. They're fairly spread out. And, well, they've already lost Cozzy. I don't think they can afford to lose anymore. It's all about placings at this point, isn't it, Jordan? You've got to keep in mind, like, yeah, we could go for a Rambo, you know, sort of game, but at the end of the day, it is about getting into that top 5 for the points.
Yeah. Definitely. And again, just singular kills as all these teams try to rotate into the circle.
Mate drop?
I don't think so.
Yeah.
Did you?
Yeah.
Oh.
That'll be an interesting one if he doesn't get back up. But it looked like Kingdom Gaming were able to take down Zoidmate.
He might have just been sitting back there waiting for any rotations, and unfortunately didn't work out too well for him. Of course, Extreme and Blackout NZ have essentially just left him, and they've decided they're going to play for the circle now, which I think is the correct decision. Not much chance they're going to be able to res him across.
Tainted Minds have a really good spot in that Wizard Tower, just waiting for everyone to come on by through the crater.
Order, again, having a run-in with Intergalactic lads. That's not the first time, and this time they're actually managing to connect some shots. So this is looking like it might be all done and dusted there for Intergalactic lads. Still 18 teams alive. They haven't all dropped just yet, but quite a few of them are down, and whether or not they're going to be rezzed across, that's the real question. It is crazy. It's just, you look at that kill feed and you see
all good
an absolute vomit of kills coming across right now. And we still have 59 players alive. Look at how contested this circle is right now.
Well, Cyclops saw Order, so he saw the whole team. He's just checking his flank now. And it would be interesting if he is able to get a shot onto those Order boys and obviously put a dent in their mission to win this. And, you know, obviously you only got the 3 guys here for TABOO. Order, top team, so any chance you can get, really. But Intergalactic lads, they've survived. They've just got the 1 player there, just hiding inside the circle. Raging Knight's Raito goes down to the Pathogen's Yeti Aztec somewhere, so we'll have to keep an eye on that battle because both of those teams are running out of players.
I tell you what, that southwest part of the circle right now is looking pretty good because there's absolutely no one there. Everyone's come in from the north. Everyone's come in from sort of...
everyone's come in from the north.
The north.
Yeah.
The north and kind of the east a little bit more so than
we want this
the
next
west.
circle to be southwest, don't we, really?
Yeah,
that would be the most fun.
Has to move.
Yeah.
Atletico, they're still sort of sitting in their position. They've been getting a few kills and they're still quite comfortable where they are, but if they get forced out of there, it's very, very difficult terrain to cross.
It's a smoke grenade.
It's a smoke. He's okay.
No, he's not okay. He's dead.
Well, he is, but not from his own grenade, so there's a little bit of thankful for that.
It's getting real now,
It is
Jordan.
getting real. Like, I'm not even going to try and keep up with all these kills. You guys can just watch that kill feed because there is no way I'm going to be able to talk about what is going on.
Look at this fight.
All in all, everyone is dropping. I think Kingdom Gaming have now just gone down, although Woods is still alive, so there must have been someone else that got dropped. We've now only got 17 teams left. Not sure who the one that did end up dropping out was.
So Woods is down there and they've just left him for dead. Now, Vanguard doing very well holding off that prison. But, yeah, this is the surprise for me. Immunity are literally right next to AVANT, and they're just holding on for dear life. They've got Greyhound,
one player alive?
Yeah, look at that. They've got them absolutely locked down. Is Blackout knocked there? I don't think he is. He's just prone, biding his time.
Yeah, I think Blackout is still alive. So 2 players alive for Greyhound, 1 for Chiefs. Right now, those, I suppose, favourite teams are not doing too well. I think with the exception, really, of Atletico, they've all got 4 alive.
Yeah, Immunity's doing well. Tainted Minds, they've lost 1, I think, but they're still doing fairly well.
They're very far out of the circle.
Ground Zero had the absolute centre of the circle. Pathogen, all 4 players alive, looking like they've got a very commanding power play on that hill. ARCANE, my upset victory, which I don't think is actually an upset, but we'll see.
Dark Horse.
Dark Horse, sure, but I think they're a good chance to win, if any.
Well, EXILE making a bit of a scouting run here. Double J just having a look for another compound.
Blackout goes down.
And then EXILE are in a pretty good plot here as well, because like I said, that southwestern side of the map is very, very open. They're not going to have anyone contesting them just yet. They can essentially sit tight and wait for everyone else to kill each other.
Order versus Atletico. We all want to see it.
Well, Atletico has to move. They're outside the circle right now.
So
obviously, the Blues still moving in. But this is where Atletico, their job starts to get a little bit tougher. Since the start of the game, they've essentially just been sitting tight. But now they actually have to make some moves and make some magic happen.
Well, they're stuck between a rock and a hard place. They've got 2 AVANT players on their west. They've got the entire Order team to their east. And, well, obviously no one's going to be from their north, but there is nothing else from the north. They can't run north. They can only run south. And they're going to run straight into AVANT if they're not quick. And if they're not quick enough, they're going to run straight through Order. And that is never going to end well when you get 2 of the top teams, some of the best aimers in Oceania, going at each other.
Yeah, this is a very, very tough cross here for Atletico. Their first drop there, Linksy is going to be knocked down. Ronan
I'll be surprised
does get the first one. There's a trade back from Neferhor, so
Yeah.
it's a 1-for-1 as far as Athletico versus Order goes. And Athletico's starting to get a little bit of an advantage there. Raging Knights now knocked down, I think, with that kill onto Raito as Pathogen find quite a few kills for themselves. Still a lot of danger there for Order and for Athletico, not to mention Vanguard. They've only got that one player left alive, DJ Arnie. He's in a difficult position as well. But Athletico, they do seem to be getting the better of Order here. There's 2 knocks onto Order. And Ronan, and I think the last one left up and standing here for Order, cowering away in that smoke.
Interesting to note as well, Tainted Minds got obliterated. They tried rotating into the circle, and Nick was in the perfect spot to stop that from Avant.
Order's
now,
down.
Subslayer is just going to hang out for that last position for Tainted Minds, try and climb the ladder as they can get as high in the rankings as possible. And as you said, Order is out. I can't believe Order lose that battle, considering Athletico have so much work to do. But look at their position. It does actually look really good, really strong.
Well, I think the trouble for Athletico right now is that they're not actually yet in the circle. And as soon as they move out from that defilade, Avant is going to have easy sightlines down onto them.
It's only 3 players for Avant. So, I mean, you can take solace in that, I suppose. But
yeah.
again...
Chiefs are down now as well. Potato getting caught out there by Vasily. Yep, he was the last one for quite a while. So now 11 teams left, 35 players alive coming into the last couple of circles.
Not a super trolly circle.
Vanguard also getting knocked out of this first game as DJ Arnie does go down to Subslayer.
We're in the top 10 now, Jordan. This is the business end.
Yep.
See how long Subslayer can rank tank for Tainted Minds.
I think his position is right now known by Team Immunity because they would have heard him getting that kill onto DJ Arnie. So he is going to have some difficulty getting into this final circle. But he does have a little bit of time that he can play with here. And Ground Zero is still in a really, really good position. We talked about them last circle, pretty much in the center. Well, again, they're more or less in the center. They still have control of a compound, so they're feeling pretty happy about things at the moment.
Yeah. Also, the 3 A teams all alive. ARCANE, AVANT, ATHLETICO, doing very well. There is that box there just to the southwest of the circle. I feel like you'd be crazy to go for it. But on the rotate in, obviously ARCANE won't be able to do anything from their buildings. SYF taking some shots now. One of the players is knocked out.
KANGA's going to have to fight their way into this circle as well. They have an idea that there's ARCANE so close to them, but they're going to have to go straight into them or wrap around the circle, in which case they're going to run into Ground Zero, more likely than not. And Athletico will have to fight their way towards Avant as well. But like you said, that is a 3 versus 4, and from what we've seen so far from Athletico, they actually seem pretty on point. They dispatched a Order with relative ease when it looked like it was going to be quite difficult for them.
Yeah, like I said, though, very strong positions around the map, especially Avant here. It'll be hard to see them go down to Athletico in this position.
This is true. Athletico fighting up the hill, which gives Avant the massive advantage. They can choose when those fights are going to start, and McClutch has died now as well, so it's back to a 3 versus 3. Linksy, the one that's kind of leading the charge here for Avant, and though it's not really a charge, but he is essentially the point man here, trying to make something happen. And
because they've got that hill advantage, Avant, it's going to be easier for them to
take fights.
But also res each other. If you're down the hill, then it's almost impossible to get a res off. So
just because of the angle.
You're not going to win out in the battle of attrition there.
Yeah, still 10 teams alive. KANGA having some troubles. Like I said, they were going to have to fight their way into the circle, and they're about to run into SYF. This is not going to go too well for KANGA at all, or perhaps I lie, as they absolutely shut down SYF. All 3 SYF players go down, and they are now knocked out in 10th place. 9 teams left alive, heading into what is going to be one of the last circles one would feel. This next one that pops is going to be very, very small indeed, and with so many teams left alive, it's going to be real trouble. Well, look, what are you going to do if you're Subslayer? You're on your own.
That's a Sandman strat if ever I've seen one.
Striker spots it out quite easily. Tainted Minds out in 9th place. Athletico still alive, still fighting up against Avant, but they are in the circle now, so they don't actually need to move just yet. They could disengage that fight and try and find something perhaps with this next circle. But you think if Athletico is going to be in the next circle, then Avant surely would be as well.
Oh, it's starting to really hurt as well.
Ludoteo might have a little bit of a problem here as well. ARCANE very, very close by him. Testroy does drop Frosty Wolf. It's 2 players left up for
You can see how eSports. You can just see this is such a superior position for ARCANE. They've had the real run-of-the-mill here.
There is absolutely no way that KANGA come away with a fight 1 in that. ARCANE just had all the cards to play with.
Happy Navides is on the hunt, on the prowl for Frosty Wolf. He's looking for anything he can get. And, well, there you go. A bit of a reply from them.
2Def trying to clutch it out. Not able to.
Still going to have to try and get that res on before the next circle starts squeezing in.
30 seconds. They've got heaps of time to res and to heal. There's no one really pushing in on their position either right now for Arcane. So they're actually in a very, very good spot right now. They're going to lose those free run.
They're going to lose those buildings though, right? So that is going to be quite difficult for them. Ground Zero and Pathogen have got the best of it, I think.
Yep.
But we'll just have to wait and see. EXILE are going to have to make their way up the hill, which is pretty difficult.
And ATHLETICO just playing the waiting game, still waiting for AVANT to make a mistake, which of course so far they have not done. But right now you probably think ATHLETICO might have a bit of an easier run into that circle, though they are spotted there by Ground Zero as well. Sharky getting some shots in their direction. I mean, for me, the real problem for ATHLETICO is going to be immunity.
It's going to come down to who pulls the trigger first between AVANT and ATHLETICO. You know, who's going to start rotating into that circle
Well, in that case, ATHLETICO needs to go a little bit earlier
and
because
they
are
are
a bit closer.
They're going to fall down here because I think AVANT are in a better position to wait it out. They still have their car. They might go for a crazy rush onto the Wizard Tower that Sharky's in. We'll just have to wait and see how they play this.
Looks like they're going for the res, but it's not.
I feel like they're going to. I mean, look, they got the hill. They can, but the circle's coming in now.
I think Nefahor has to leave him.
It's a very painful hill. Circle.
Yep.
So he can't afford to fight Nefahor either.
There's not actually that many players in this circle. Everyone's going to be trying to get in and get positioning. We've still got 7 teams alive.
Yep.
AVANT, very, very weak. ATHLETICO now down to their final player. Nefahor trying to clutch this one out for his team. Arcane definitely doing well. They're getting a lot of kills in these last few circles. AVANT, well, they're still alive. But I got to say, Arcane, Ground Zero, they're probably the ones to beat at the moment. And
AVANT
happy
gone,
Novitas.
AVANT are gone.
Are they gone? Did they get knocked out just then?
Absolutely gone.
Oh, they're gone. So,
Nefahor
Ground Zero.
attacking well.
Ground Zero, Arcane, and Immunity looking really, really good. Immunity certainly have all their players alive, which is the only team.
That shack. That's all that matters here. Nah, unlucky. So there you go. That's EXILE's hopes dashed. But Sharky with a superior positioning. Oh, until this happens.
Oh, he's okay. He's okay.
For now. You have too much confidence. So these grenades really hurt.
The thing about Sharky is that he is not necessarily the main force of Ground Zero here. He's just the one trying to hold off the frontal side of that circle, make life difficult for the other teams.
True.
The rest of his team, the ones that are actually ending up going to be the ones to clutch this game out, to win this game for Ground Zero, are relatively uncontested right now on the southern part of the circle. Obviously, Pathogen is having a look in their direction, but
team kill's a big one.
They're still doing okay. And Sharky is the one that's dictating this entire game right now. Look at the control that he's got. Everyone is kind of just trying to fight Sharky right now.
Well, he should be the #1 target, by all means.
For all the teams.
Well, exactly. So, but look at also the rest of Ground Zero. They still have those last remaining buildings in the circle at the moment. Sharky is going to get squeezed on, so he really needs help from his teammates.
Well, he's got Kebab above him there as well.
Immunity have just done so well to keep all 4 members alive, and they're just going to, slug their way into this final circle, try and avoid Sharky for as long as possible.
Well,
this
smoke
grenade will neutralize him pretty well. But the rest of Arcane on that hill, the suppressing fire, I don't know how he's going to do it. One well-placed grenade into the doorway and he's in trouble.
Immunity's still in with a decent shot here. If they can
Pathogen.
manage to take that Wizard Tower.
Oh, that grenade.
But Arcane making their move now. The smokes might help them out just a little bit. Sharky, he's got no idea, but soon he will. And he's going to have to come up pretty big here. He's not going to be able to get any kills. He's been taken down. Ground Zero now lose 2 players, or rather just 1. But Kebab sitting on top of that Wizard Tower, not an easy position to clutch from. He's essentially stuck in there, but he's going to have some shots here into Immunity. The smoke
play by
does keep them busy.
Proned in his own smoke grenade. Throws another one.
Absolute madness.
Oh, he's been caught wanting there by the rest of the Arcane boys.
So who's left alive right now? Ground Zero have got 3 players. Immunity, I think, just getting knocked out there.
Yep.
3 teams left. Ground Zero, Pathogen,
Arcane.
So none of the 3 teams that we would have necessarily expected, though Pathogen maybe you would have put up there.
Need I remind you?
Dark horse.
My dark horse.
Dark horse.
That I feel isn't really a dark horse.
All right.
Because they top their group. But, I mean, it comes down to the superior positioning in this last circle.
Well, Pathogen's gone now. As Resolves does get dropped, there's 2 teams left. Ground Zero and Arcane.
Immunity's still there.
I don't think Immunity's still there,
I think our map might be broken. Who knows?
I don't think Immunity's there.
Oh, Biggie got the kill before he was knocked. And
Yeah,
okay.
Yeah.
Well, that's good. Kills are
So,
good.
right now, you probably would favour Ground Zero, I think, actually. It's 2 versus 3. They've got the player right above Arcane in that Wizard Tower, so he can really be the linchpin.
Obviously, they'd be able to hear. I was going to say, I don't know if they'd know he's there, but they can definitely hear Kebab up there.
But Arcane are really, really stuck behind this Wizard Tower now. And this is where you have to make your move, Kebab.
He keeps going in the blue there just to
get knocked.
Yeah, that's it. That's it. Ground Zero are going to finish this one off. They're just going to run at him and get the kills.
NYRB is still alive. In a 2v1, it is doable. It's not impossible.
It'd be a huge clutch play. He's going to go for the res. Mavgod's just letting it happen by the looks of it. They're not in any rush.
I don't think they have any grenades. If they had some grenades, they might have thrown them in.
Here comes the circle. They're done for. Unless they have a lot of meds, which you can see here. Just the 7 Red Bulls. Oh, he gets blocked by his teammate.
Ground Zero. Close out the first game.
Done.
So that's a great start there for Ground Zero. They had a lot of kills. They had really good positioning in the majority of those circles, and they come away with the first victory here at the PGI Oceania Qualifiers.
And, I mean, as we were saying, we didn't really expect Ground Zero in our top couple of teams. You know, just that Wizard Tower, that nice play, splitting up, having Kebab and whatnot there, but everything else was just perfect for them. But look at that, so many kills as well. ARCANE, I think they did a really good job, considering they just stuck around in that the wood mill for so long.